I like David Montgomery. I think he's a good football player. I think he has value. I think he carried himself very professionally for his time here. He is at times exciting to watch run because he is indefatigable and he will always break tackles. So he's very football-y.
He will also pass block.
And catch passes. He's good. I'm glad the Bears didn't pay him. Because there's better ways to spend money than guaranteed deals for running backs.
You could probably say that differently. I'm glad the Bears didn't overpay him.
Okay.
I would have been totally fine if David Montgomery would have been back on this team. But as we've talked about with the people who cover the Bears for us and our friends that jump on the show, I think that he was a late free agent priority. You get all this stuff done. He's I don't want to say he's a luxury item, but you get all the stuff done that you need done at positions where you desperately need help. And then at the end, if he's still available because of the added value of him knowing what you guys do, understanding that he has a good relationship with Justin Fields, if at the end of it, he's still available, you make him an honest deal and you bring him back as a Bear. But I'm guessing Ryan Poles told him, go find your deal, go get your money, and let us know. Like, let us know what the deal is. Tell your agent to contact us as soon as it's done, and then we'll let you know if we're in the market. And they weren't. They weren't in the market for the money that he got from Detroit. I think he'll do very well in Detroit because, like you said, he's a good football player. But the value of running backs has changed. And where there's so many of them and where you can find them. The guy who had a major impact in the Super Bowl this year was a 7th-round pick in Pacheco. And if you look at his numbers in that game and the things that he did, you can find that. Scored a touchdown, averaged over 5 yards a carry, runs to the line of scrimmage with fury.
Well, runs to tacklers, too.
Mm-hmm.
He runs to contact instead of running away from contact because he likes contact and seems to like breaking tackles. My snarky corollary is the Steve Stone corollary, and that is when he says, I like catchers who can catch the baseball. I like running backs who can run. And if I'm paying for something, what I will pay for is speed. I'm not necessarily going to pay for the other things. You can find other things.
I mean, I don't mind paying for, like, for example, I mean, I don't think the Bears were ever going to do this. Austin Eckler, if you're telling me you got a player like Austin Eckler out there, I'm going to pay for his ability to catch the ball and do stuff with the ball in his hands after he catches it.
And yet he's an example of an overachieving, undrafted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Undrafted, and I think D2, right? Isn't Austin Eckler like a D2 or D3 football player? Yeah. I'm going to pay I want the speed for sure, but I also want a guy that doesn't have to come off the field, that doesn't tell when we make a substitution. Like, oh, that guy's out of the game? Well, I know that it's probably going to be because he can't pass block. So I know what time it is, or I know what types of plays they're going to run because that guy's out of the game. So there's value, but the way that the running back position has completely changed in the last decade, I know that if I were at the lower levels and they were telling me that I needed to play running back, I'd be like, I don't know. If I had NFL potential, I don't know if I'd want to be playing running back unless I was the elites of the elites. Unless you're the Bijan Robinsons of it, I don't know if you want to play that position because you're probably not going to make it to a lucrative, and we're speaking relatively here. Obviously, David Montgomery's contract with the Lions is lucrative to those of us who don't make millions of dollars a year. But as far as NFL money goes, it's good money, but it's not break the bank any other position money.
There's just so much dumb on purpose out there. Stop doing it. This is why I feel compelled to do all of these inoculations and preambles.
Well, what's grinding your
You're
gears
paying
now?
for speed, so you wouldn't pay for the second coming of Walter Payton? What the hell are you talking about?
Walter Payton was slow?
What the hell are you talking? What is wrong with you? You think he was slow? Did you ever watch him?
I hadn't gotten the memo.
Are you out of your damn fool mind?
Is that a new sports thought that Walter Payton was slow?
What are you? Where are you? What planet are you texting from?
And we were just talking about like the elite of the elite, and you heard me talk about Bijan Robinson. Walter Payton would be the elite.
Come on. Is it worth it to get your quarterback injured or killed because your running back is fast but can't block?
Well, okay.
Lawrence, you mentioned this during the football season.
Have you watched this quarterback move, by the way?
That's the thing.
And they have a fullback now.
Yeah, have you seen this
They
quarterback?
actually paid their fullback to come back.
Some people are watching some other game. I don't know. It's not the Bears. I don't know what a game it is.
Well, I mean, they apparently weren't watching Walter Payton.
What the hell?
Because
Like
he's slow.
you go there to now somehow you'd miss on Walter Payton. What?
One of the greatest athletes who's ever played football. Ever.
Like
You weren't going to miss on that.
Google a highlight. You don't think that guy ran away from people? All right, whatever. Come on. It's not Marion Motley, although he was pretty fast too.
Walter Payton, fourth in all-time receiving for the Bears. Also played quarterback for them.
Man.
One of the greatest athletes who's ever played the game.
Yes.
And you've reduced him to being a slow running
Some
back.
example of a slow running back that the modern game would somehow miss? Just don't. No, but this is good. This is yet another piece of evidence that convinces me that Ryan Poles knows what he's doing. To say, okay, congratulations, David Montgomery, as a third-round pick. You've made a nice little number for yourself and get yourself paid.
I wouldn't say you've made generational wealth, but you've made good money that you can live off of until you figure out what you want to do after you're done playing. And that's good. That's a success story. Like that's a Ryan Pace success story right there. I'm happy for him. And I do think that you can have a stable of running backs that do different things. But ideally, you want that running back in today's offense is to be a guy that can change the game for you. That's why the Cowboys franchise Tony Pollard, and they're going to get rid of Ezekiel Elliott because they can find this version of Ezekiel Elliott after they ran him into the ground. They can find another version of him in the 5th round in the draft.